Alright, so today we have a Silver 1 Doomfist. Now, if you want to coach yourself, feel free to join the Discord, as well as make sure to like and subscribe. Okay. Alright, so what I would have liked to see you do right there is, instead of kind of just like throwing your slam all the way up and then flying all the way down and slamming, you can use your slam to throw yourself up in the air, and then you can cancel it by pressing the same button and then charge up your fist. And you could have tried to go for a punch on the Hanzo right there, and there's a good chance you probably would have been able to kill the Hanzo because there's a wall right behind him. So as long as you hit him, you would have been able to kill him. But instead, you kind of tried to target the D.Va with it. And what happens when you try to target the D.Va is not really a whole lot, because D.Va has a lot of health and 2 supports helping her out. Okay. Nice kill. I think you're targeting the Hanzo right there, but nice kill. Nice use of your melee. Nice kill as well. All right. So right there, the second you heard that Bastion ult, you should have known that he's probably going to be by himself, just because he's the first person to get back. So you could have instantly dove him right there, to be honest. Especially when you saw there's so many bullets from your team going straight at him. You should have known that, like, he's taking some sort of damage. So you can jump over here, maybe slam, punch, shoot a few times, melee. If not, block, take the block back, and then just punch out. All right. Not really a whole lot to talk about too much right now. Maybe a little bit of a faster punch on the D.Va there, so you could cancel her mech form, as well as slam right there would have been huge. As well as try to angle when you're trying to punch, like try to angle the Bastion into like a wall or something, because then he takes extra damage from the wall, and on top of that, kind of got him separated from the enemy team. Probably would have been best just to save your charge fist right there. As well as slam. So all you had to do right there was, as soon as you realize how low that D.Va was, you slam, shoot once, shoot a few times maybe, and then you just walk out. Because then he's demeched. And guess what happens when he's demeched? Or when she's demeched? It's gonna make them significantly harder to win a fight. Or it's gonna make it for them significantly harder to win a fight. Sorry, I just woke up, so. Alright, watch for the Widow, or Mercy. Okay. The second you got your punch back, you had to go for a punch there, because now she got the res. But now what you can do is try to punch the D.Va. Fortunately, she got her mech back. Yeah, the second you get a kill, especially on like a D.Va or a tank or anything like that, in this rank that you're in, if they have a Mercy, expect a res. 100% expect it. Because a good Mercy isn't going to go for that res, but a bad Mercy will go for that res 9 out of 10 times. Best bet right now, just reset. See if you get steam act. This up a little bit. So what I would probably do is just wait out turret form. Unless you're trying to build up alt charge or something like that, I'd wait out turret form because you're going to take a bunch of unnecessary damage. As well as diving in right here. Thankfully, you're Zen ulted because you're almost guaranteed to die. Okay. Nice. I do like the idea on the Ashe right there, but unfortunately your backline was too disturbed. So, and as well, last second you did see a Moira right over here, so there's a good chance that you would have been able to kill the Moira.
I will achieve my vision.
You're coming up on ult, so if you play it right, you can almost guarantee a kill. Yep. Honestly, I'd stay up on this high ground. Just stay up on this high ground right here. Just wait a second. Just chill. Figure out what's going on. Maybe you could even go through here. Maybe even try to go for a kill on that Ashe as soon as you can. As well as don't be afraid to like shoot some of your shots. Make sure you can see if you can get somebody like a tiny bit lower for when you engage on them. For example, that Moira right there. Even though she does have fade, unfortunately you're on cart, so you're gonna miss that. You're gonna need the block right here. So let's kind of talk about all of this because this is like very chaotic on what's happening, and there's like so much going on that I kind of need to stop and talk and like kind of just readdress everything fully. So let's look at their comp. Who's killable, who's not killable? Diva, not killable. Ashe, killable. Zen, very risky, but he is killable, so you do have your ult, so he would be killable. You could go in there, kill him, ult, take the high ground right over here maybe, kill him, or maybe you could just even go in, slam, punch, ult, all three of these guys, maybe be able to get 1 or 2 kills. Or slam, block, or slam, punch, then block, then get your punch back, and then punch him again, and then ult. That's what you can do. Sorry about that. I explained that bad. You could do that, see if you can get a pick on one of these guys. You could also go up to this high ground right here. You can kill this Ashe. Ashe would be very free right now. She's up on that high ground by herself. All she has is her dynamite stick to defend herself. But if you kind of catch her off guard, there's a good chance that you're probably going to kill her before she gets it off. So you have plenty of opportunities right here. As well as when Bastion's in his turret form, try to avoid it for a second. Maybe towards the end of it, you can go in, see if you can gain a charged fist so you can do a little bit more damage on a punch. But going straight in, like at the beginning of the Bastion's turret form, or like almost like a little over mid of his turret form, that's dangerous. You're going to take a bunch of unnecessary damage. And when you're taking a bunch of unnecessary damage, you're not really going to get a whole lot of value out of it. You got the pick. Unfortunately, your team backed up, as well as I don't think you're really going to be able to get out of that. But what you could have done to get out of it sooner is the second you got that pick on that Zen, just get out. Your best choice would have been to get out. You turn around, you instantly slam out, then you instantly just leave.
You cannot escape me.
I rise again.
Why has the payload stopped?
As well as with that ult right there, when the Zen was in the back line, the whole entire enemy team was kind of looking at you, and on top of that, like, there's a fairly good chance that you probably wouldn't even be able to get out. So you could cut your loss and just ult yourself out. That's just based on if you don't think your team's gonna be able to do a whole lot. Like right here, for example, you gotta engage on this ASAP. And the reason why I'm saying you gotta engage on this ASAP is because look, your Genji has ult. That's 100% a massive cue for you to go in and you get any extra damage out. Good punch. Exactly what you're supposed to do. Just did it a little too late. All right, go Moira. Try to use your slam first, especially when she's gonna rotate around cart like that. Just use your slam first, see if you can get a good punch, and then get like a good punch on her. She doesn't have her fade, so she's a free kill. I'd be careful on engaging this, because once you engage this, you can't get out. Actually, it's silver. You can't get out. Okay. Once again, kind of blindly going in. You have to have a target when you're going in, because if you don't, you're gonna get yourself in a really bad situation like that, and then you're gonna die. You need to figure out exactly how you're gonna be able to get able to exit. You're gonna have to figure out and sometimes you can play a little bit more patient. You could have waited back a little bit, maybe wait until cart gets up a little bit more, then look for any free kill. For example, you could maybe dive right over into this room right here, then maybe go for a punch on the Zen, charge up your fist. You see maybe Bastion's low, you can go for the kill on the Bastion, slam right over here, punch him into the wall, block, get your punch back, and then punch out. Either or works. We're gonna speed up right here.
Receive my aid.
I will strengthen this world. The payload is idle. Push it forward. Rocket punch.
60 seconds remaining. Your end is within my
Yep.
Pathetic. The tree is ready when you
This kill right there. She used her fade, so she's free.
You put up a poor fight.
Nice. Nice target on the Zen. Punch the Moira as soon as you can. Nice. Force out fade. Target the Moira. You got to keep looking for that Moira. Nice. Perfect. Now guess who's free? The Diva. So when it comes to Meteor Strike, I don't want you to use that as your first ability. I want you to use that as your last resort after you use all of your cooldowns. Maybe you could go for slam then ult, or slam punch then ult. You can get your fist charged up. You can slam punch 2 players into a wall and then ult on them. You can get a pretty good kill that way. But just randomly ulting like that, almost every time you're not gonna get an ult, or you're not gonna get a kill. So that's why I'm saying most of the time you wanna try your absolute hardest. These are the most interesting Zen ults I've ever seen. Sorry. What was I lost my train of thought. Yeah, you can punch him into a wall, but I don't want to see you using your Doomfist ult as your first ult. Or as your first ability. It should be more of a last ability. Good job getting out. I do like the fact that you did get out right there. But it was overtime.
switching sides.
You need to do more of that though, throughout the whole entire game. Right.
Ready for battle. Hello.
Doomfist on defense.
4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
Ready for a knockout?
Nice attempt. I like that attempt right there. You see Moira faded? Moira's free kill. Nice. Perfect. Diva's D-Mech, take high ground. Amazing. Perfect. Exactly how you should have played right there. You see the difference? That was like 10 out of 10 on the target priority. 10 out of 10. Now, maybe you probably could have taken the high ground right there and maybe killed the Zen first and then the Ashe. That would have been a good idea. But you forced out the Moira fade, which is really huge because when a Moira in this rank, when she uses fade, she's going to use it in a random spot. That's going to lead her into a very dangerous spot. And it's just all about trying to figure out exactly where she fades. Because if she fades somewhere, like, you could get a free kill on her if you know where she faded. Once again, force fade, free kill. You're taking advantage of it, and you got the free kill on that. Unfortunately, though, the rest of your team died. Wouldn't really put that blame on you right there. You're playing significantly better on defense than you were on offense. So far. Now that we're pushing, it might be a little bit of a different story.
Stall that payload, or else.
Once again, right here would be a perfect time to block. You go right up into this corner right here, you block that, you gain your charge, and then you back up for a second. And then you maybe fly forward, look for a punch on like one of the supports, see if you can get a kill on one of the supports, and then you can slam yourself out. Nice. Just stall. Sit back, stall. You don't really need to peek right here because you're not going to gain anything extra out of it. Besides for like maybe a little bit of ult charge, but you need that health for when you're going to engage in this next fight. So just chill. Just chill, sit back. Because by the time you're ready to engage now, look at your health. It's so low. And it could have been almost doubled it. Or it could have been like 50% more larger for an engagement. But unfortunately, it's not. As well as be careful in using all of your cooldowns and getting stuck in the back line like that. Yep. Just get out. Unfortunate. Kind of messed up on your slam backwards. But you see, for example, like right there, you see what I'm talking about when you kind of like use your ult as like your first ability? You need to like engage with your abilities first, make sure they actually make like value out of those abilities, and then ult. Because then you can get a kill. Sometimes you can even ult just to reposition yourself to like the outside so you can get like a really good flank. Sometimes you can even do that. Really just depends on the situation though. Okay, I would get ready and engage this ASAP. If they cap right here, that's on you. Yeah, so you have both of your supports right here. You're playing a little too scared. This is the moment where you do want to play point as much as you possibly can, because the second they cap this, they're going to have a lot of time to recap, and your team is going to struggle. Oh, sorry. I yell for a second. All right. But yeah, that was a massive like falter right there, massive mistake. But that's all right. I think you're trying to play back. You're trying to play a little bit more smart, because I believe you said that this is like your first ever match on Doomfist. So I'm not gonna like 100% blame you for mechanical skills or anything like that. Which actually, your mechanical skills, I was just about to say, weren't too terrible. Unfortunately, you did miss that. As well as, I don't like when you're blatantly randomly punching in at the enemy team. You have to have a target for when you're punching in. Like, you have to have a target for when you're punching in. Because when you don't have a target when you're punching in like that, it's just gonna mess you up.
Pass into the iris.
Oh, let's break it down!
Its destination.
Just what I need.
Experience.
Nice. Yep. Unfortunately, as soon as you heard that Bob, and you saw that like maybe a few people on your team died, just rotate out. The situation is very risky right there. Yep. You just rotate around, and then you punch back in, and you try to go for a last second touch. Your best bet. Okay. So, what is everything that you need to work on? Well, first off, this match was very chaotic. Very, very chaotic. And it felt very, very, like, unknowing on what to do. You only had, like, really one good opportunity, or one good, like, insanely good, time. Like, you had one really, sorry, I can't, like, find the words. My bad. I just woke up, so I'm, like, super tired. You really only had, like, one really good opportunity, and you took advantage of that, or you had one really good play. Sorry, I am like terribly explaining this. You had one really good play, very good play, and that was on defense on the first capture point, because you had a really good target priority right there. You had like really amazing target priority, but after that though, you kind of started falling apart again. You started like just randomly using your block. You need to be more strategic with all of your abilities, and you need to figure out someone who you can target. Now, I'm not saying go full send into their backline every single time, go for the Zen, and then just get exploded. I'm not really saying that. You need to just find like opportunities. Maybe take a few shots. See, like, if you see like the Bastion's like half health, or like, for example, right here, you see Moira in the backline's low health. Feel free to like slam right here, and then punch out. Get that free kill, reset for a second, maybe block, get a charged punch, and then look around for another kill. We'll say Bastion just gets out of his turret form, he's a little bit damaged, all of his shield's gone. Then you can go in, punch him with the charged fist, take a few shots off, keep meleeing him, and then get the free kill on him. You got to find like any opportunity to get free picks, but so far what you were doing was kind of just going in continuously and like looking for anything random and not really having your eyes set on one thing. The only time you really had your eyes set on one thing was on that defense round. You forced out the Moira fade, killed the Moira, helped to do a lot of damage to the D.Va, took the high ground, which was extremely impressive, and I was extremely proud, and killed both players on high ground. That was genuinely beautiful compared to everything else that you did. The target priority was there. You focused on one target that was punishable. You punished that target, and then you finished off the rest of the team, because the rest of the team was struggling because they only had one support, and that one support was Zen. You do that every single time, where you find an opportunity to get a free kill so your team can be in an advantage, so you can keep engaging, as well as like learn when to engage when your team engages as well. For example, when one player on your team was Genji, he was ulting, and you kind of just sat back and you're playing scared. As well as capturing point on the second point right over here, you kind of played scared the whole time. And you let, I don't know who it was, but you let someone die, and you kind of just stayed back, and then they cap point. But that could be your opportunity to go forward. Like, you had cart for cover, so you're not going to take an extreme amount of damage, so you're not going to get, like, exploded within a couple seconds. So you had that to like sit right here for a second and chill, and then maybe try to look for a kill, maybe try to make a play. But unfortunately, you kind of sat back once again. So like the times where like you should absolutely engage, you have to engage on it. And then the times that you like, you engaged like way too much, it was like opportunities where like you have to look for the pick. but you kind of just like sent to in and looked for a kill and then died. But anyway, though, I do hope this video helps you out, because I mean, this is, I believe, your first ever match on Doomfist. So, or you're playing Doomfist. This is your first ever day on Doomfist. So good luck on the ranking up. I hope this video does help you out, and if you take my words of advice, I guarantee you, you're gonna rank up. Just focus on that target priority. Focus on any openings that you can get. Look for any punches. Charge up your fists so you can engage in, so you can get a pick faster and everything. But anyway, though, I hope this video helped you out, and I'll see you